Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my channel for another Hot Toys 1/6 scale alien figure unboxing and retro review. Today, we're taking a look back at Dog Alien from Alien 3. This piece, MMS 77. He was released all the way back in 2008, a 17-year-old figure. It took me way too long to get it, but he is here now. I'll let you know how this came to be in just a second. Now, if you're heading down to the description, why not hit that subscribe, bell notification icon, and join button, so you're notified as soon as brand new Alien content goes live. I'm so freaking excited to get this figure out here, even though it's got issues, which we will talk about, but the story behind this pickup. For the longest time, I've been watching listings on eBay for Dog Alien, but you never know for sure if the rubber has degraded, if the sellers are telling the truth or not. Plus, the price tags were insane, like upwards of 1,000 Australian dollars. Fast forward to recently for ACGHK at the end of July, I was in Hong Kong and I saw a Dog Alien on a shelf in a store selling Hot Toys. And the price tag, 1,500 Hong Kong dollars. Chucking that in a currency converter, just under 300 Australian. So after I was able to examine the condition of the piece, looks to be almost flawless, but we'll find out in a minute, I had to get it. Like, it was a no-brainer. So I copped this, and somehow I managed to fit the box in my suitcase. As for the box art, image of the figure up front, slightly raised on the surface, same thing with the text, Alien 3 up top, and this rainbow chromatic effect that they were using back in the day on their boxes, it still holds up. It still looks very impressive. This video is brought to you by JustinsCollection.shop, the home of the figure first aid kit, as well as other accessories to help your collection be the best it can be. The first aid kit contains multiple tools to help you with maintenance, styling rooted hair, and much more. We also sell crotch grabbers, soft rubber tips to prevent damage, and they're compatible with most modern Hot Toys base molds. Acrylic risers come in multi-packs. They're optically clear, thick and sturdy, and stackable. Check out the link to JustinsCollection.shop in the description. It's beautiful. I wouldn't mind if, for an homage to what they were doing with Alien figures back in the day, they went back to this for the new big chat box on the side of it, a close-up image of Dog Alien's head sculpt, as well as a read-up at the bottom. Feel free to pause to read that. Look, I know Alien 3 isn't the best in the franchise. I enjoyed it for what it was, specifically the director's cut. Nevertheless, I had to have Dog Alien. He will be joining my collection alongside Big Chap. The new one will replace the 1.0 eventually, Alien Warrior, and the Scorched Xenomorph from Alien Romulus. On the back of the box, some product shots of Dog Alien, then some close-ups at the bottom. We've also got multiple Alien 3 logos for some reason. Now the rubber. This piece is made almost entirely out of perishable rubber. That means this isn't going to be a traditional Justin's Collection review. I need to be a lot more careful with the figure because I do not want to destroy it, especially after waiting all these years to finally cop it. I'm sure you'll understand where I'm coming from with that. Underneath the slipcover, they've ditched the rainbow effect. It's more of a satin finish for this artwork. This is a flap you can open up to reveal some more figure photography, as well as the read-up that you already saw, and an open window in the shape of Dog Alien. Now, interestingly enough, back when they were making these Alien figures, they were treated as model kits. So there is going to be some assembly required with this figure, and that also is making me quite nervous. See, up the top there, 1/6 scale fully posable model kit. And doing a pose like this, is that even going to be possible in 2025 with a figure made of rubber with a plastic endoskeleton? I don't know, maybe we'll find out, maybe we won't. On the back of the box, some images of Dog Alien's accessories, but it's really its head, a close-up of the head, the hands, and the tail. I'm not sure if Dog Alien even comes with any accessories, so let's find out. Yep, just some hands, as expected. First in hand impressions for a 17-year-old Hot Toys Dog Alien. So far, the rubber does feel a little dry, maybe a touch sus, but I've got a plan for that. He's heavier than I was expecting. There might even be some metal as part of the endoskeleton for the tail, perhaps. More in-depth thoughts I'm sure we'll develop as we progress through the video. What we're going to do now is skip accessories because it's just some hands, we can talk about them later, and move on to Dog Alien itself. Standing straight up and down in the light box, no crazy poses or accessories or anything like that. Try and ignore the display base, it does not come with Dog Alien. That is the Alien Warrior base. The only reason why it's here is because it's a Xenomorph specific crotch grabber setup, so it's designed for figures like this. And Dog Alien's leg joints are so bad that he can no longer stand on his own. I will have to figure that out for how I'm going to display him, but just the aesthetics of him alone, so sick. He's not perfect. We've got plenty to discuss off the turntable, but he's got presence, he's imposing, and there's a lot of detail, not just in the paint, but the sculpt, as well as the mix of finishes. Translucent glossy plastic, translucent cloudy plastic with detail underneath it. The articulation, that is something we'll have to dive into. For now, I am so glad I decided to pick this up. Up close and personal, kicking things off with one scary looking alien head sculpt. Is it a perfect Dog Alien sculpt? I'd like to think they got close, but probably not, given this is a 17-year-old piece. I'm no Dog Alien / runner Xenomorph expert. I've done a lot more research on Big Chap and Alien Warrior because I never thought I was going to own this piece. Now that I have it, I am very impressed with what they cooked up back in the day. Does it hold up to today's standards? In some ways, actually, yeah, maybe, like the translucent dome and the functional inner jaw, which we will get to. But in others, the rubber, the softness of the sculpt work, the lack of chrome for the teeth, maybe not so much. However, the paint is awesome. There is so much depth. It's not just brown. There's some dry brushing, there's some red, there's silver for the teeth, there's a black wash in the crevices, and a lot of translucent plastic. Over the shoulders, integrated into the arms, but I'm getting ahead of myself. For the head sculpt, the ribbing, as well as that dome. Then they've hit the inside of the dome with a darker paint, so there's even more depth underneath the translucent plastic. It's a long head sculpt, it's all rubber, including the sinewy bits on either side of the mouth, so doing this, I probably shouldn't, given the age of it, given how fragile it is, but for the sake of science and completeness in this review, let's give it a go. This little lever that sticks out underneath the head sculpt, if you push it forward, the inner jaw will extend. These figures are known for having the stretchy bits of flesh on either side of their mouths snap. That's about as far as I'm willing to push it, but as you push the lever forward, the mouth opens and the inner jaw comes out. It doesn't want to stay out when you do that, but the detail for the inner jaw is surprisingly good for as small of a piece as it is. I'm not a fan of gimmicks like that, where you're relying on rubber to hold up for a long period of time. I would have preferred a swap-out jaw and sculpted plastic. Back in the day, likely they thought this was the only option available to them, so that's what they went with. Coming down to the torso, this sculpted rib cage detail. There's some brown shading and some lighter yellow dry brushing. It's the translucent plastic with the wrinkling over the top and extra detail underneath it that gets me the most. That extends onto the arms, more fine sculpt work for the wrinkling, and the little dongles that stick out off the elbows, they are still there. They break more often than not on Hot Toys Dog Alien figures. With mine, they are still intact. He's in surprisingly good nick, given what he's made out of. So these hands are sculpted plastic. They're on regular-ish hinges and swivels for wrist pegs. They also include some articulated finger hands with bendy wires in the fingers. They allow you some more versatility for posing. It's just that bending the wires on these old hands, I'm not sure how long the PVC material for the outside is going to last under a max bend. I'm just going to stick with the pre-sculpted hands on my copy. Look at all of this stuff down the back. Say what you will about the stupidity of Hot Toys using rubber. At least everything is seamless. No visible joints. This could pass as a modern day Hot Toys Dog Alien with a repaint. I need to seal this with Mod Podge. Then I might give repainting a go. It's fine as is, but the tail is a different color to the body, the hands and feet, they're a different color to the body. I want everything to match a little bit better than it currently does. Handling this guy feels gross and authentic at the same time, just because of how squishy everything is. It's the hips on mine that just don't hold up. I reckon he will be able to stand there on all fours in the display okay. Straight up and down on two legs, I don't think that's going to happen. But sculpt work wise, all of this stuff, the flabby bits for the hips that extend up over the body to cover up the gaps for those hip joints, that looks great. There's more wrinkling down the legs. Then we've got the chicken leg look and the feet with the claws sculpted up front. They're not as sharp and scary looking as compared to what we can see on the hands, but looking at reference, they're fairly accurate, if not a little bit small. There's some sculpt work on the bottom. You never really meant to see that. So, it's old. It's dated. I don't think it's obsolete. If they never give us another Dog Alien in 1/6 scale, will I be happy with this? After I seal it with Mod Podge so I know it's never going to degrade or it's going to last a lot longer than raw like this, then yes. If they were to give us a 2.0 Dog Alien with a medical silicon body, would I jump on it? 100% instantly. For a quick side-by-side comparison, I'm still relying on the Alien Warrior stand to keep Dog Alien upright, because without it, he simply wouldn't be standing. To combat that, I've grabbed Big Chap and his display base so that they're at the same level, and as you can see, Big Chap is the taller of the two. However, Dog Alien's chicken leg situation with his knees means that he will automatically stand shorter unless you straighten out those legs and straighten out the torso. If I was to do that, I believe Dog Alien would be the taller of the two. Ooh, Alien Warrior. He looks quite good next to Dog Alien. Honestly, they took away the dome for Aliens because they were having fogging issues on set with condensation getting trapped underneath the domes. That's why none of the aliens in that movie had them. But they brought it back for Alien 3. And I think that was the right choice. I've always been a fan of the domed look versus the Xenomorphs without it, but nevertheless, standing next to each other, this is still a great evolution of the Xenomorph in 1/6 scale. It's not the correct Ripley, the bald-headed, queen-carrying version of her from Alien 3. This is Ripley from Alien, the first movie. If you don't care about that, you just want one Ripley in your collection, and the Nostromo flight suit version of her with the flamethrower and Jonesy is your go-to. That is your classic look for Ripley. You could absolutely display these two standing next to each other. Dog Alien, significantly taller than Ripley. Going over articulation, this is nerve-wracking. This makes me so freaking anxious. But starting off with Dog Alien's head sculpt, there's something going on inside the neck area. It no longer wants to hold position forward, but you could do something with it perhaps. Swivel left and right, as well as some tilt. Arms are on double ball joints at the shoulders, going out to there as everything flexes and moves around, forward and back freely. These are plugged in separately at the shoulders, so you don't have to worry about stressing out the rubber moving them forward and back at least. It acts as a butterfly joint that also hinges up and down. I don't think there's any swivel at the bicep underneath this translucent plastic bit. Most of the swivel comes from the shoulder joint, and it works for that. Single bend at the elbow, getting you to 90, and it's on soft ratchets. Then for the wrist peg, it's a hinge and swivel. Torso crunches forward a lot, actually. That is way more than I was expecting. But given the age of this piece, it does spring back a touch. Going back to there, being mindful of the rubber, Justin, swivel, and some pivot side to side. Tail is wired throughout, so you can bend this however you want, really. Legs are on double ball pegs going all the way forward. That is a crazy range of motion. Going out to there, and you get swivel from that same joint. There's a joint for the upper knee on soft ratchets, getting you decent range. Then for the lower knee, another ratchet joint that's a lot stiffer than the upper one. And lastly, the feet, hinges and swivels. There's a screw through the joint, so if you find that it's loosening up over time, you could always tighten it. Good for forward and back, rotation, as well as some tilt. Wrapping up on Hot Toys Dog Alien from 2008. Do I recommend getting this? Hell no. Run a mile if you see one of these on a store shelf, unless you, like me, are a completionist and you're willing to put in the work to preserve this, repair it depending on the condition of the one you find, and that is something you're interested in exploring with this piece. I am, and I plan to cover it in Mod Podge, seal everything, and make sure this lasts. But if I wasn't comfortable doing that, then I probably would have passed as well. With this now in my collection, I'm glad I took the risk, because the rubber is not damaged at all right now. He is in near perfect condition. He looks dry. It looks like the rubber is going to crack at some point. That is a much better place to start from than one that has already degraded. So if you too can find one in good nick, then potentially consider grabbing this, like I said, if you're willing to put in the work, because you will be rewarded with a figure that you can pose, like, pretty well, as long as the joints are stiff, and something that is so unique and visually interesting. Barely any Alien 1/6 scale collectors will have this, just because they do not last. So it's too risky of a pickup. They won't add this to their collections for fear it is going to disintegrate in front of their eyes. Which is so fair. It's been an experience, a blast from the past, getting a 17-year-old Hot Toy Xenomorph. Would I do it again? Quite likely not. I'm not a gambling man. This panned out. Next time, I might not be so lucky. If you're heading down to the description, why not hit that subscribe, bell notification icon, and join button if you like the sound of seeing your name in the end credits of my reviews. Like, comment, and subscribe. We'll catch you in the next video.